Well, John moved here to I think get away. Is that kind of get away from Hollywood? But there is something to be said for being in Hollywood and having access. And one of the big things is agents, and it's so hard to sell a script without an agent. I would advise all of I'm sure there are a lot of people here that are writers, and my big advice is work your butt off to get an agent. And I would even go as far as, like, say, get an LA number, like a service number where when somebody's called a cell phone, where you've got like the 310 number, so that it just feels like you're kind of around more, and get a mailbox there, however you want to do it. But agents are incredibly important. I don't know anyone in LA that's a successful writer that is working outside the agency system.
Yeah, and if there is that sort of sale and they have that material, they're quickly brought into that.
Yeah,
It's a very sort of closed loop. I think,
I mean, every once in a while you're going to hear the story like Diablo Cody, the Juno woman who, was off, doing her thing and wherever, and writes the script that just breaks through. But did an agent sell that script?
That was Ben Spain said.
Oh, they read her blog, I think, right? Yeah.
You should write this.
So even there, she had representation, that's a management firm, right?
Management, yeah.
So even she wasn't totally outside the system because she had a manager representing her that was a huge manager in LA. But yeah, because what happens is, and this is horrible. It's not the way it should be. It should be entirely on material. But what happens is, so Warner Brothers executive is sitting there at his desk, and he's got 500 scripts in his office, and he looks over, and there's the cover, on every script there's the cover, and some of them say William Morris on it, and those are the ones on top, and CAA is right next to it, and William Morris, and UTA, and Endeavor, and then as the agency levels go down, that's where the scripts start standing behind the desk instead of on top of the desk, and then it's the blind submissions that are by a lawyer that the guy knows are kind of in the corner, and it's the scripts that get sent in that have absolutely no representation that are being put into folders and sent back to sender. And the sad part is there's probably scripts in there that are brilliant, but until you get that agent to.
Yeah, I think. The thing I'm asked a lot is, well, how, then how do you get an agent? Which is sort of this weird thing that I'm not. There's not an answer to. But I know in my experience, the assistants at the agencies are sort of the gatekeeper, to the ear of the agent, and they're the people who are going to be the agent in 5 years, and they started. It really is this joke of starting in the mailroom and then moving up. So. I know in my case with this script precedent, it was the guy who was answering the phone, who's the guy who also reads the 20 scripts to give to the agent and say, read these 6 and these others, don't worry about it. So in that sense, that's the only in that I can sort of come up with that's sort of a nice way to, empower somebody who is already not seeing the daylight anytime during the day because they're in this cubicle in this room working these insane hours, and they're looking for their way out. They're looking for their way up, I guess. And so that's maybe an angle there, but it really is a sort of loop and a system where these people know each other, and then okay, well here's something you should read, and it's all tracked as far as who's writing what, and what agencies have what writers, and it is a very difficult thing to sort of penetrate.
Yeah, and a lot of it's also what you were just saying. It's about who you know and connections and getting your friend who's signed at an agency to give the script over, and it's a lot of kind of angling and politics, and but it is incredibly important. It is incredibly important. I got my agent through, which I'm hoping is kind of inspiration for everybody here. I sent out. There's a book that you can get at Samuel French, which I'm sure has an online store that's like the agency book, and it's got every agency and who they represent and the name of every agent within every agency and what kinds of things you submit to and all that kind of stuff. And the problem is you send out they call it query letters. You never send a script to an agency because it'll just get returned to you immediately. You send out a query letter, hi, my name is Josh, and I've got a great script, and here's the log line for it. You give them like a paragraph, short paragraph. I also send in my letter of references, the producer who I washed cars for on Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and the guy I worked on Weird Science, a TV show, and tried to put as many cool names as possible on there with numbers just to show that I've got something going on. And then what I did was, you don't just send to every agency, so you don't just send a query letter to CAA, because inevitably it'll come back, it is CAA strict policy never to accept unsolicited material, and you'll get it returned to sender, and you'll never hear from them again. You go through the book and you get every agent at every agency, and you send them a personalized letter. And from what John's saying, send it to the assistants too, and so I wound up sending about a few months before I graduated from film school. I went out sending somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 letters, all in the same day, mass mailing to every agent at every agency, and not only to CAA, which would never accept me in a million years, but also to Joe Blow's talent agency, because you just need to find that one person that's passionate about your writing and that will go to bat for you. It doesn't matter where they are. It's about finding somebody who's passionate about you. And of those 750 letters that I sent out, I got back about 20 or so that said, maybe it was as few as 10. So what'll happen is you'll get back some of those that you send to CAA will say, we never accept unsolicited material. Some of them will send back saying, we opened it, now we're not interested right now. And 1 out of 35 agents will say, why not, send me your stuff. So you just get lucky that way. But there's no way you would have done it if you would just send to CAA, or if you just sent to 1 or 2 or 3. Just the odds are against you. So I got back maybe 10 people to say, send me your stuff. And of those 10 people I sent my one script to, one guy said, I like it enough to sign. And it just happens to be
was that
Todd Feldman, who's John's agent right now. And it also happened to be at a really good agency. It was ICM, which is one of the best agencies. So I just got, just like one of those things where you never know. You just got to throw it out there and just know that out of 700 letters I sent out, one guy said yes. And that's all you need. And that's how I broke in.
That's funny. And it's like all coming back to me. And I remember that same thing. I did the same thing, but with a movie. I had directed a documentary on drive-in theaters, and I was trying to get this thing seen, and so I sent the query letter to every person who could possibly distribute the movie, and sort of again had a couple people call back, and one of the people was this woman from Monica Scribellis, who's not even in the industry anymore, but sort of said, well, by the way, what else are you doing, or what else do you want to do? And that's when I had this script, and she said, well, here's some agents you should maybe talk to, and she gave me a list of 5 agents, and one of them was one who happened to know about this screenwriting award thing. So it's sort of this weird combination of things, but you're right about
that's a good point too. I feel like if you are going to be making this journey into trying to find an agent, have 2 scripts.
Yeah, what's the next thing?
That's a big question you get. What else have you got? And you don't want to be the guy that has, I got something for you in 7 months. You want to be the person that says, I've got it right now, and throw it in an envelope and send it to him.